This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thanks again for joining us. And we are joined today by Sam Pedroza. He is the mayor of Claremont. Sir, I want to thank you for joining us again. We've been speaking over the year about redevelopment, a tool that municipalities use to revitalize blighted areas. As you know, the state, as a way to close its budget gap, has chosen to all but shut down redevelopment agencies. Cities do have a response, and 83% of them are adopting that tactic. What is that tactic?
Well, the tactic will help us be able to have our RDA going for a period of time while we pay this ransom.
And that's what I wanted to talk about. So this, what the state has said is you can keep your RDAs open if you pay the state a certain amount of money.
Right. And unfortunately, it is this game that where the rules have changed on us at the last minute. But for us, RDA is such a strong tool for us that we're willing to pay that amount so that we could keep our redevelopment agencies rolling.
How would you respond to those that would say, look, we know that redevelopment agencies have been successful, but in tough economic times, we don't have the luxury to siphon off property tax dollars to give to a city to incentivize development?
Well, it's quite the opposite. It's exactly the time when we need strong RDAs, because we need to pump up our local economies so that we could increase that sales tax revenue and continue the programs and services that local government provides, as opposed to having to go back to the state for more money or go to the federal government, which we know they don't have any. So, and it's also creative revenues to the state as well. As
you also know, the California League of Cities has sued, and they are very committed to seeing this essential elimination overturned. The California Supreme Court is taking the case. And what the league is saying is that when the voters passed Proposition 22 in 2010, that prevented states from raiding local coffers, so California couldn't dip into local money, and they're saying this is local property tax dollars for redevelopment. You can't do that.
Right, absolutely.
Do you buy into that?
Absolutely. Well, in terms of
the argument,
yeah.
I mean,
honestly, I think that a lot of this that the state is doing on local government is in retaliation because of Proposition 22 that the voters overwhelmingly supported. And it's because I think you see the approval ratings, local government approval ratings are always much higher than that of the legislature.
But Mayor, at the same time, let's say that the Supreme Court rules in favor of the California League of Cities, redevelopment is reinstated, the money that may have been sent to the state goes back to the municipalities, and then the state has a huge budget deficit, they must close, and so what are we going to see? We're going to see cuts in UC and CSU and welfare and back to work programs.
Well, there is a lot of going back to the drawing board. However, one big aspect of it is the school districts. And the state legislature forgets that school districts have just as much in local government, just as much of a stake. It's all the same residents. So we can't separate city and a school district. In fact, if anything, we should be more progressive in working together and sharing those resources.
One of your colleagues in the mayoral ranks, Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa of Los Angeles, has called for reform of Prop 13. Very bold move. He wants to see commercial entities pay more property taxes. Is that one way to address this issue?
It's a major way. I mean, it's been exempted for such a long time. We've had a huge segment of the population of those tax rolls that have been untouched, and unfortunately, whenever that third rail gets brought up, they prop up an older couple saying that are we going to tax these older people? That's not the point. The real issue are the commercial property owners and apartment owners. Okay. There's a lot of untapped resources there.
His name is Sam Pedroza. He is the mayor of Claremont. I'm Brad Pomerance. Remember, if you want to watch more editions of Local Edition, sign on to Time Warner Cable's video on demand channel. That's #1, and then go to local, and then go to My Government. We're going to send you back to HLN.